Hello, I'm Tom Wright. I'm the host of Ecotopia U Media, and today we are interviewing Bridgett Luther, the president of the Cradle to Cradle Product Innovation Institute of San Francisco. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm good. So in this context, in this kind of interview, we're here at the U.S. Zero Waste Business Conference, and we do want to talk a little bit about how that intersects with your business career. But first of all, just give us some background of how did Bridgett Luther get into this path? How did it get?
You know, I'd always
In the beginning.
In the beginning. You know, I helped start the first recycling program in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina.
Okay.
Because we didn't have enough landfill space, so we had a little puppet show. We were taking around the kids and teaching people about red bins and all that. So it really started back in the 80s. So I had done that, and then I got interested in Cradle to Cradle. I heard Bill McDonough talk in 2003 when his book first came out.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I don't really know how that relates to me, because at that point then I was working on land conservation, and so I was really water quality and those things. And I thought, well, if I ever have a chance to implement the thinking in Cradle to Cradle, I'll do it. Well, as it happens, I ended up running the biggest recycling program in the country, California Beverage Container Recycling Program. And as I thought about it, I was like, well, we're not going to, in the very first part of the book, Cradle to Cradle, Remaking the Way We Make Things, it says, turning bottles into carpet isn't a solution, because eventually that carpet's going to become waste. And I would go down to Long Beach and I would see all these bottles sitting on the dock. And I said, well, we're really good at collecting things. Are we really recycling them? And I just thought about that. And then the final thing was my office looking out at the Environmental Protection Agency. So my office in Sacramento, I worked for the state of California for 5 years, looked right out at the EPA building. And as I became aware of the regulatory community and what they do and what their mandate is, I said, this won't work, because we're sitting at the end of the pipe and we're telling people, how much stuff can you have in your air, in your water, in your body until it will kill you? And that's what the regulatory community does. This won't work. We have to go way upstream. We have to start making products with a design that won't kill us or the planet, and that's Cradle to Cradle. So that's how it all started. The frustration with the regulation community, having heard Bill and being all inspired. So what happened next was kind of nuts. So we had some money in the recycling fund, and we ended up putting a sustainability division at the Department of Toxic Substance Control. We also put one at the Division of Recycling, and they worked cross-agency, which is, of course, unheard of. We had a sustainability initiative within our own department. 750 people had to read Cradle to Cradle. Bill McDonough came to town. He met the governor. We came up with a law.
At the time, the governor was?
Governor Schwarzenegger, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He once said, I recycle more with my pinky than most people do with their whole hand. So we love him, and he loved recycling. And you know, the recycling rate was only 62% when we took office. It was over 80% when we left.
Wow. And
what I realized is, if you give people enough of an incentive, they will start doing the right thing. You know, the 4 cent, 62%, raise it to a nickel, 80%. I always call it the 1 cent solution. But recycling is just not enough. It's really about how I design my product and what's happening to it when you, the initial consumer, get finished with it. It's not just about, it's all about that design and getting way in the front of the product. Have you designed it? What have you designed it for? Is somebody going to take it back? Is somebody going to compost? Do I want it back? I mean, some of the companies that have their products Cradle to Cradle certified, and that's the program I run now, are pretty amazing. But we can talk about that if you want to.
A little bit. Help the audience, help define Cradle to Cradle. I mean, let's assume a person is listening to that language for the first time. How would you explain Cradle to Cradle? So
what I tell people is, when I talk, I say, first of all, just look around the room at everything. And then I say, just close your eyes for a minute. Imagine that everything in the room is going around. The tiles, the carpet, the paint is safe and healthy. The chair that you're sitting in becomes a baseball bat, becomes a television. And then you're suddenly realize, well, if everything is going around, then we have enough for everybody. And you start living in this world of abundance. And it can be life-changing. I mean, so many people have told me they've heard Bill, they've read the book, and they said, or they've heard Dr. Brungart, and they said, wow, we could do this. And that's why I think it's so powerful, because it's not just about let's get rid of stuff or let's recycle. It's just about really rethinking who's going to take this next? What are they going to do with it? Is it made with safe materials? And, can we keep it going around in a way that can be hugely beneficial? There's way too much stuff being wasted. There's no question about that. So Cradle to Cradle is all about never going into the grave. No landfills. No landfills, just keep going around.
No incineration.
No incineration.
But it's so much easier to get rid of stuff.
Of course it is. But you know what they always say, there's no away.
Now, explain that. So
Yeah.
there's no way.
There's no away. Yeah, well, I could throw my stuff into the trash can, but if you actually followed that trash can, where is it going? Is it going to the landfill? Well, when it gets to the landfill, that's really not away because that landfill is next to somebody's yard. The toxins from that landfill are migrating into your groundwater. It's hugely problematic. So there really is no way. And some of us are away as China, Sacramento, trainloads of trash. They're actually moving into Nevada. That's horrible. Why are we sending our trash?
It's Nevada.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Nevada. But what they should be saying is, oh, great, it's the new gold rush. We're getting all these cool resources from California that we could turn into something amazing because they think it's trash.
Well, to the extent that people, again, if most people listening to this are saying, well, it sounds like such a feel-good thing, but is it realistic? Is it pragmatic?
Well, that's what I love about it, because at the end of the day, I would say that I'm a pragmatic environmentalist.
Okay.
I really like to see things get done. So now let's just think about this for a minute. I've got 225 companies that have been part of this program, and what they've committed to is envisioning a cradle-to-cradle world in their manufacturing processes. So they commit to safe materials, and they committed to designing that product so that it can either be recycled or composted. But they also commit to making their product with 100% renewable energy, clean water, and paying everybody a fair wage.
My goodness.
So it's a lot. But it's a leadership, and just imagine if everything in every store was made that way, then everybody's got safe materials on the shelf. They know where they're going to go. They know that the company's committed to make the world a better place. And it's a game changer.
Committed to doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And the focus is just doing the right thing,
Yeah.
and then the bottom line follows.
Yeah. So we say, let's get started. And we've got a new hashtag Yes Revolution.
The Yes Revolution.
Yes Revolution, yep.
I see. That's great. Now, who are some of these companies that you find that are leaders of the cradle-to-cradle genre?
Yeah, a lot of them have something to do with green buildings because green architects really wanted green building materials. So we've got Shaw Carpets and Steelcase Furniture and Herman Miller Furniture, and Benjamin Moore just got a cradle-to-cradle certified paint.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Sun Power, we have our first cradle-to-cradle certified solar power. Because if you're going to power with renewable energy, then you would like to have a solar power cell that actually comes back. So they have a contract with you. They're going to go get it back.
Yeah, it would be kind of a contradiction to create clean energy with dirty material.
Yeah, dirty materials. So they took all the dirty materials out as well.
This is
First cradle certified battery, not made with lead. It's made with salt water, and the outside of it's polypropylene. So there's all kinds of cool companies, and they're using this sort of positive thinking to also push innovation for their product.
Now, when it comes to packaging, do you have any insight about packaging? Because you're talking about building materials. Can cradle to cradle be true with packaging? My PET bottle becoming a carpet, is this a good idea, or what am I doing?
Yeah.
Just moving things sideways?
Yeah, so I would really like to work on the packaging thing. We have a couple of companies that have actually gotten their packaging certified, and we also have companies who have cradle-to-cradle certified packaging, like Be Green, and Ecovative, and RDAG, which makes an aluminum can that they get back and they cycle it into another aluminum can. So all those, so it's what I love about the pragmatic part of this is I'm not inventing it. The companies are doing it. They've already paved the path for other companies to come by. Oh my gosh, you're still doing this and you're making money. You're increasing your relationship with your customers in a way that they really start to believe what you're doing, and they're excited to be buying something in a cradle-to-cradle certified packaging.
And your website is?
C2Ccertified.org.
C2Ccertified.org.
Yes. And this is what the cradle-to-cradle symbol looks like. Cradle-to-cradle certified. Get it today.
Well, thank you very much. You've been very expressive and very, very enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.